A full day, finals day at the Sevens World Cup for 2013. Russia, as we can see, host at the Luzhniki Stadium. And with that, it's a thank you for the guys. For now, we'll be back and chatting with them right throughout the course of the day. But we'll head across to Luzhniki Stadium now for our first game with our commentary team, Ben Gollings and Wyn Griffith.
Coming here to Moscow, and the referee for this match is from Australia, and he is Matt O'Brien. Uruguay led by Juan Diego Ormachea, one of the two brothers, Ormachea brothers, in the Uruguayan lineup. Chemsedine Khalifa will kick off for Tunisia in the red shirts here. And Matt O'Brien not happy that the correct pressure is in the ball, or perhaps it's a practice ball. He certainly kicked it away, and it may have been Chemsedine Khalifa actually who objected to the use of the original ball, which is being scrutinised by the technical people down there on the touchlines.
He must have a valve in his pocket.
So, finals day gets underway in the first mistake of the first game by Tunisia. And play on, says Matt O'Brien. And Uruguay perfectly entitled to play on as Juan Martin Jovet, wearing 2, takes it into contact. That's Felipe Berchesi. He's the sole try scorer in 3 games for Uruguay in this year's tournament. But water does find its own level, as they say, and I'm sure that Uruguay are confident of claiming their first victory here in Moscow in this bowl quarterfinal. There's a trophy to be played for, and all the players are up for it. Certainly Agustin Ormachea strides away and opens the scoring for Uruguay. Just the second try for Uruguay this weekend, and Uruguay are off to a flying start.
Yeah, well, they've reacted well off the bounce, off the kickoff. They didn't have to play it, but they did, because often actually it's a better opportunity for you than rather than starting a free kick on the halfway. And since then, they've kept the ball well. They've gone from side to side, stretching the Tunisians, and then opened the gaps and then taken their chances.
And these two teams, they don't often get the opportunity to compete at the highest level. And that is the task, I think, for the International Rugby Board, to provide sevens teams of the calibre of Tunisia, who, as I say, have had their day, and Uruguay as well, with greater and more frequent opportunities to display their talents. And they certainly have the ability to compete, as we've witnessed from Tunisia in the past. Their best ever result was defeating South Africa in Hong Kong in 2005. They've also beaten Samoa on the HSBC Sevens World Series, and Argentina as well. But that was a few years ago.
And when in 2009 they were 14 or 20 points up against us in a pool game in England.
Yeah, us being England, and Ben Gollings the top points scorer. So it's all Uruguay in the opening minutes. There's the try scorer, Agustin Ormachea. There's a greater determination in the play of the South American nation on the last day of the tournament, as Matt O'Brien steps in, penalises Tunisia.
Number 12.
Number 11 is Guillermo Lichtenstein.
I think he might have got a stud on the foot there.
Hey.
Yeah, well spotted. Uruguay come again. Hint of a forward pass there, I fancy, to Alfonso Falcon, the number 3. So Uruguay denied, but it's all Uruguay again, applying the pressure as Tunisia will get their first chance of ball in hand. Some wonderful artistry on the arm there of, I think it is Alfonso Falcon. Yes, it is. 23-year-old. His first year on the Sevens circuit, made his debut in Las Vegas back in February. A furniture salesman, and It's a guy who sells wardrobes you'd want, isn't it, in the front row there. Jabri Chadi. Keep an eye on this guy. He's certainly got some gas, as Jabri Chadi. 3 tries to his name already here in Moscow. Khaled Zegden, a veteran of many a Tunisian campaign. A man over here if they can work it out quickly, but good covering work here by Uruguay. A tackle made by Gabriel Puig.
On the mat.
It was good to see Tunisia with ball in hand and moving it as well as they did there. Unfortunate, Cardinal sin as a winger, try and stay off the touchline and keep in play, but starting to work themselves back into this game.
Tackle was made by Bakezi, my apologies. So 2 minutes and a half, 2.5 minutes or so remaining of this first half. Just the one score claimed by Uruguay. Falcon winning the ball in the line-out. It's a little slippery on the near side here, but finding good traction is Jabri Chadi. Good try. Spotted the opportunity around the narrow side, Jabri Chadi. And that's his 4th try. He's their top try scorer.
Well, it's a regular experience. You see this all too often in sevens, where turnover's so key, often leading to a try, and it's a simple one for Jabri Chadi to finish. However, it was good defence from them. I'd like to have seen Uruguay try and pull back out here. They've got Tunisia have offered them down a channel and then known that they can isolate that attacker. There was plenty of room for Uruguay to play back on the far side in that instance.
Conversion is successful, so it's tied up at 7 points all in the first bowl quarterfinal. Well taken try by Jabri Chadi, and this is Luis Pedro Achard, the coach of Uruguay. Yeah, rugby is a game that has to be played on your feet.
Unfortunately, it would have been perfectly legal if he could have just kept his hands off the floor and gone through. The opportunity was there, but falling on the floor, referee's going to penalise you.
Barchesi gets good distance on his kick. Just some 20 seconds or so remaining of the first half, and it's good to see there's more of a breeze blowing through the stadium today, Ben, and the temperatures have been exceptionally high here in Moscow. Talking to 1 or 2 people who live here, and they say it's very unnatural for the temperatures to reach what have we, 34, 35 degrees yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, I think the players will be happy that there's a bit of cloud cover there and a bit of shade on the stadium today, and also there's been no rain overnight, so the field is not going to be as slippery as we saw yesterday.
So last chance then in this first half for a score. Favaro pushes it through, but it's well covered by Shamsuddin Khalifa, and Tunisia have this under control, but they also want to steal a march on Uruguay before the break if they can. Well marshalled into touch is Jabri Chadi by Felipe Barchesi, and Matt O'Brien will call a halt to proceedings with a try apiece and a conversion apiece. It's Tunisia 7, Uruguay 7 at half-time.
Andá y va a volver la pelota. Cuando vuelva va a aparecer el espacio como lo hemos hecho. Sigan así. Estamos jugando.
هكاك فينال كانوا مستمين اوكي الدخله وثقه صادر ودفاع حتى كيف
Mohamed Sarawi is the manager of the Tunisian side. The gentleman with the blonde hair there is the coach, Jean-Paul Doutrelou, a former physiotherapist with the French team, are getting an opportunity now to show his coaching skills.
Well, he was around the French side for a long time with Thierry, so he's got plenty of knowledge in this game.
He certainly has. A sneaky feeling he's written 1 or 2 books on sports science, so he knows all about the physiology of rugby players and how they need to hydrate themselves to cope with the searing heat that we've had here in Moscow over the last week or so.
Well, there's a lot that goes into these players, into these teams that we don't see at face value out on the field, but they work extremely hard to get themselves in the correct condition to be playing at this level.
So Uruguay had the early score cancelled out by that marvellous try for Jabri Chadi. And Uruguay, well, there are only 33 clubs and an estimated 7,500 players to draw from, and they would dearly love to qualify as core members of the IRB Sevens World Series circuit, and that would certainly improve their standing in the world community. They have their own tournament at Punta del Este, of course, which is a fantastic tournament, but most of the players are based around the capital, Montevideo. Tunisia, 75 registered clubs only, and a lot of their players play for clubs in the minor French divisions. They have some lovely skills. Berchesi taking it into contact, but the tackler rather, being penalised there for not releasing.
Well, I think maybe he's knocked the ball back as well, which is how Tunisia ended up with it.
So Tunisia committing the errors and being penalised by Matt O'Brien.
Interesting to see. Quite a few teams have used this tactic of kicking to touch here in Moscow, and it's probably highlighted through the conditions and the heat, and especially this time, first thing in the morning, having played 2 days of rugby already. You want to conserve a bit of energy.
Yeah, Uruguay being penalised. So it's Guillermo Liechtenstein, one of the two players not based in Montevideo, based in Paysandú on the banks of the Uruguay River. He'll have appreciated the sights of Moscow on the banks of the Moskva River, I'm sure. Almost as wide as the Uruguay River in parts. Ball not going to hand. It's all a little laboured from Uruguay. And Tunisia look to catch them napping here.
Behind the mark. You in front of the mark, must be behind.
The line not taken from behind the mark. Uruguay completing the passes, which indicates that they've had the lion's share of possession.
Both teams, though, just not quite got the accuracy you need at the moment with ball in hand.
Tunisia qualified for the Rugby World Cup by beating Madagascar for the third place in the qualifying tournament in Mombasa at the end of April. One of the last teams to qualify. Khalifa going into contact. Oh, poor handling skills. That's a shame, because there were two men outside, including the flyer, Jabri Chadi.
Real shame, yeah. They had plenty of space and numbers on their feet here, Tunisia, but again, it's just those handling skills letting them down.
Well, they certainly have the physical attributes, don't they, Ben, to play this game? And we've seen body shapes change over recent seasons amongst the big hitters, so to speak, in World Sevens Rugby. But the minnows have also learned that they need to be in physically good shape to play this fantastic game.
I think that's one of the major differences at the top level at this stage, is everybody's realised how unique condition you need to be. So everybody's getting that conditioning. You've got to add that to the skill base and the understanding of the game.
Some soccer skills there. Not unfamiliar, I'm sure, to Uruguayan rugby players. Liechtenstein, he's had enough. Let's get on with it. Omache once again testing the Tunisian defence. 21-year-old. Alfonso Falcon, his hands letting him down. But Matt O'Brien calls them back for a penalty, so they get another bite at the cherry. So it's all about communication here now. Liechtenstein. Change of direction. Might bring good fortune. Good work, and the try surely has to come, as indeed it does for Santiago Gibernau. Another returning veteran of Dubai in 2009 restores Uruguay's lead.
Well, clever football here, and it made it look simple. That the key was the guy stepping back off his line, drawing in the defenders here. You see number 1, and then he's taken the tackle, but he's still got his arms free, just creating that 2-on-1 on the outside. And that's what you're looking for in sevens, trying to suck in a few defenders and leave that space and that man on alone for a free run in.
A rare piece of skill there from Uruguay, but it does show that they know exactly how to play this game. It's consistency and accuracy that they're looking for, as the conversion attempt drifts wide, but Uruguay lead Tunisia by 12 points to 7. And looking for their first win in the tournament. They lost by 33-5 against Wales, 47-0 against Fiji, and they were also nilled by Tonga, 36-0. Tunisia, on the other hand, well, they lost 24-7 against France. They gave them a scare early on. Australia beat them 40-7, and their best result, well, they defeated Spain by 26-24. Spain, a core nation on the HSBC Sevens World Series circuit by now. And they retained that status at the final tournament of the season in London back in May.
At the moment, Tunisia as well, having the squeeze put on them by Uruguay. They just can't get their hands on the ball for long enough in this second half.
So a minute and a half to go. Just the one score, and Uruguay again with possession and again pressing on the Tunisian 22. This is Gaston Mieres off the bench. Perchesi, fly half in 15s, and Uruguay making the ball do the work now. Santiago Gibernau, good defense there by Tunisia. Desperate measures here by the North African nation from behind their own try line. Oh my goodness me, the Uruguayan player clattered into the goalpost there. Kamsadine Khalifa brings it away. And the Uruguayan player still stunned back on his knees, though, as Tunisia are in the hunt here for a try which will bring them back on level terms. Cutting back inside, that is Jabri Chadi.
Got the numbers here now on the right, Tunisia. They've worked this well, but again, it's quality of pass, just stalling their attacking.
Yeah, Uruguay effectively down to 6 men, but the injured player is back on his feet and gingerly making his way back into his own half. He'll appear to the right of his shot shortly. No harm has been done to the scoreboard, certainly from the Uruguayan perspective, but what happened to, I think it is the captain, Juan Diego Ormachea, who tried to grab the Tunisian player and clattered into the goalpost. Look at this. I don't often see that happen.
No, thought for a second there Tunisia were going to work a try right from out, literally near the dead ball line, not just their goal line.
So Ormachea back in the ranks. Big burly Juan Diego Ormachea. He'll be more embarrassed than anything, I should think.
It's a good job they got some good pads on those posts.
And the goalpost didn't move. They never do they? So we arrive at full time as Matt O'Brien awards a scrum here. We're into referee time, and this will be the final chance for Tunisia to claim a converted try, which will see them secure their second win of the weekend. Interesting statistics there on the errors committed, and the team that caught my eye in the flash there was New Zealand. Much fancied New Zealand in the cup competition. So Kamsadine Khalifa releases Jabri Chadi. Scored a try at the end of the first half to bring Tunisia back on terms. The game can't finish on a penalty, and that penalty will go to Uruguay, and surely they will kick this into touch. As indeed Guillermo Liechtenstein does, and Uruguay then have secured their first victory of the weekend. They've defeated a battling Tunisia 2-1 in the end, and a final scoreline which reads Tunisia 7, Uruguay 12.